Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors podcast, and today we have the full house with Lumpia and Sirius.
Woo! Friday!
Friday.
Made it.
This is, I guess, a special podcast because technically a lot of things happened, both gaming and the really the Disney investor relations call. Um, I, we, I think it was just too much that we couldn't keep it to Sunday, so. Let's get to it. So let's start with the video game awards. I think, no surprise, The Last of Us 2 won awards. I think a lot of people expected that.
Hey, did Avengers win any awards?
No, but they were all. Everyone's excited about Cape. There's an article.
This is DLC.
There's an article in Forbes that says Marvel's Avengers is not Anthem because because of Kate Bishop, and I was like, oh, we're going to celebrate the Avengers game based on the most popular version of Hawkeye.
Ouch.
Which actually we do have to talk about anyway, because that's part of the investor call, probably.
Yeah, that's part of the investor call.
So I think let's just go to serious here. What are some of the big things that came out to you that's worth sharing your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm familiar with most of the games that were shown, and for the record, like all the trailers were beautiful. Like graphics were incredible. But I only focus on the ones that I'm familiar with in terms of playing. I will say Super Smash Bros. Ultimate introducing Sephiroth as a character. Just the news alone was awesome, and the way they made the trailer, they actually incorporated the end fight scene from Advent Children. So I thought that was really cool. And they really sold it like pretty well between the cutscenes and the gameplay. The other one I was looking at was this game. It was a new game that I'm not familiar with, actually. It's called Century, and it was really cool because it looks like you ride around in like dragons. And just from looking at the gameplay, it kind of almost looks like a cross between Monster Hunter and the long and forgotten Anthem, in the sense that the point of view that you're in when you're riding the dragon is very similar to that of Anthem. But like I said, like the graphics were gorgeous, and like I would really very much to learn more about the storyline. And Lupia, what was the other one that I was
Dragon Age?
Yes, Dragon Age. Lupia was the one who got me into Dragon Age. The first one was just awesome. I never got a chance to play 2 and 3, but I've been told. Yeah, I wasn't going to mention names, but I have been told that 2 and 3 don't really mean too much.
Well, two was fine.
2 improved upon the gameplay experience, but from a story perspective,
yeah, it was.
And on that note, like I said, like the ending of the trailer was awesome, because it's like they said, like, this is your story, and right away, Loki and I were just like, you know what? That's Dragon Age right there.
So I'm going to pick up where he left off, because it just makes sense to me.
No, it wasn't my story, but go ahead.
It is my story, because at the end of Dragon Age 1 is my story. This is my harp about it. BioWare, I hope you're listening. If you are, you know my harp about Dragon Age. You know my issues with 2 and 3. You know I gave you credit for the gameplay experience in 2. The fighting system was a lot better. But at the end of the day, you created a game like Mass Effect, where you could bring your character from the first Mass Effect and port them over into 2 and 3. And that is the character you've built, and you bring it along with you on the journey. You didn't let me do that in Dragon Age. So, boo to you. But I think, based on the trailer I saw, and maybe this is me being optimistic, when they said your story, it really resonated with me. You know why? Because when I saw the trailer, I thought of Destiny 2. I thought of Destiny 2 and how you create a character and you take it through the seasons and you take your character through all this shit. You do all this freaking bounties and shit. This is the way gameplay should be. I think this is where they're going. I hope this is where they're going. I hope that all of the hours of gameplay I have spent are worth something, I guess is what I'm saying.
And quick note, so basically what you're telling me is that I'm not in 2 and 3, I can't have wonderful relations with the mage and make myself king again.
You can do whatever you want, but I made myself the queen and I couldn't freaking carry that shit over, and I got pissed because I got ported to a world that I didn't want to be in. It's like putting me in someone else's body. Although I was kick ass, but I'm just saying, it takes away from the whole point of the game. And the fact that they mentioned Darkspawn and these wolves and these whatever dragons, I mean, it's freaking called Dragon Age. We're supposed to be fighting monsters, not worrying about the mages and the Templars. I'm not here to worry about politics. That happens enough in the real world. Let me worry about things that matter, like Darkspawn and not mages, but Darkspawn and like dragons and whatever.
Yeah, they really emphasized on keywords such as Darkspawn and like familiar words from.
Yeah, so either way, I was happy with it, but I need to see more. That's BioWare's to-do list.
I'm actually going to call you guys out. He only said Darkspawn once.
Yeah, but that was enough. I don't know, but the way that they presented the trailer made me feel like Destiny.
So you're like, let me wrap what in a nice little bow. You're thinking this is going to be a live service, like
I think so, because it's the only thing to do. It's
very EA to do it.
It's the right thing to do, and if they do that, I might not be playing Destiny 2. But that's different. Don't do it. Like, do you see why I keep saying Destiny is the game that keeps giving? How many seasons are we in now? 5, 6, 7?
Dude, it's been many seasons.
Okay.
By the way, Dawning's next week. We have to get ready for Dawning.
So guess what? I'm still playing Destiny. And when did this game first come out?
Destiny 2 or Destiny 1? Destiny 1 was like the beginning of the PS4 Xbox.
Okay, well, Destiny 2 then. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
That was a minute.
Destiny 2 is not that new of a game.
No,
it's like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
easy.
And I'm still playing it. So that says it. That says it all. But anyway, I digress. So that's my Dragon Age spiel. I hope they listen to me, and I hope they listen to everyone else. Make it multiplayer. Make it like Destiny. Make me take my character and just bring them to this world.
You know, the last time BioWare did a Destiny-like thing, it was called Anthem, right? And that didn't really work out.
Well, I had really high hopes for Anthem, I will say. And my hopes were crushed because they did not support it. They did not. And I mean, EA, that's on you.
I'm going to go back and play it now.
Yeah, I will too. But EA, that's on you. Because how many times did it have to load for me? Like, how many times did I get booted out of the server? Okay? Division works better. And when I say Division, I talk about Division 1. So,
that was such a good game.
And that was a good game.
That was such a good fucking game.
So anyway, before I move on, the gaming thing, there's a couple of things I want to mention that Sirius didn't. So I agree with him. The Century game looked interesting. It gave me Panzer Dragoon vibes. The other one I want to mention is the Smash Brothers thing. I thought that was kind of cool that they brought in Final Fantasy, but literally, you were there with me, Sirius, when we were watching it. The first words out of my mouth was, how the hell did they get Final Fantasy? How did Nintendo get Final Fantasy?
Seniority.
When freaking Sony gets Final Fantasy. But somehow they did. And it only makes sense that Nintendo gets the rights to these characters.
Yeah.
But Smash Brothers makes me think of Power Stone. And I loved that game on the Dreamcast. And I just had like nostalgic vibes.
It still boggles my mind that you have never seen a Super Smash Brothers
I have
game.
never played Super Smash Brothers to this day.
Oy.
But I played Power Stone, and if it's like that, then I get it. I get the thrill of it, but it's not my Super Smash Brothers. I'm not going to go buy a Nintendo Switch for, but it was appealing. The other thing I want to bring up real quick is, and there were other games there. I'm not like worthy of mention, but there was a central theme of a lot of the games, and it was zombies between Evil Dark, Evil West, the other one in space. Was it Callisto? And then the other one with the 4 people walking around. Like, there's definitely a zombie theme appearing. or pandemic related theme. The thing with the worms, like that threw me off. It was gross. So that one was worth noting.
So what are they trying to tell us?
And
what are you trying to tell me here? Come on.
And the other thing, the last thing that I want to leave with is that I actually almost teared up when I saw Mass Effect because I didn't think they were going to make another one. And I will tell you, and I talk about Mass Effect 2 because Mass Effect 2 is my favorite one. Whereas Dragon Age 1 is my favorite, Mass Effect 2 is my favorite. I worked my ass off on Mass Effect 2. My Shepard was like my greatest creation to this day. And I absolutely love Mass Effect 2 for that reason. And I only hope that I can carry it on in this next Mass Effect, or if I have to create a new one, fine. But the fact that they're continuing Mass Effect almost brought tears to my eyes because I worked so hard on that game, never before. And I love that game to this day, Mass Effect 2. I couldn't even bring myself to play Mass Effect 3 because I still love Mass Effect 2. So anyway, I know you're a bigger fan than me of Mass Effect, so I really want to hear your thoughts, fan, because you seem a little bit like
Oh, no, actually, Mass Effect, so okay. I wanted that one to be last, but let's talk about Mass Effect. Well, I am the person that has 5 complete
yes.
playthroughs.
The
Like from 1 to 3.
And that's what I told Sirius. I told him that.
So you're going through 3 games, which is what, 60 hours a piece, all because if you miss out on like some of the side quests in 1, they don't carry over to 2, which don't
content. Yes.
They don't carry over to 3. So it's like,
Yep.
shit. That being said, all right, let me go through the play-by-play. I was like, all right, let's see this. And I was going through memory lane thinking, oh wow, they're talking about the first Contact War. I hope this is not a prequel. And then you saw the mass relay was destroyed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, so this is after, but I'm still in the Milky Way. Okay. And then you just see a random person walking up a hill, a mountain, a snowy mountain, picks up an N7 armor, and then you see it's an Asari, and then she, like, the hood goes out a little bit, and it's Liara. It's Liara.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it's Liara.
It is.
And I was like, oh. And I'm like, and then it says the key word, or phrase, sentence, Mass Effect will continue.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to understand what they mean by that. Because that could go so many ways. So the Asari, let me go, while I'm in the background, I'll Google this, but Asari lifespan, right? Let's just see. Like, it's kind of sad that apparently Google, 1,000 years, okay.
Well, Mass Effect 3. Like, spoilers, guys, so fast forward 10 minutes. But at the end of Mass Effect 3, what happens?
It depends on your choice, but at the end of the day, there's not much variation. That's still partially the complaint, that you basically either sacrifice your body to make synthetics and organics, both, like make machines human and humans machines. Then that ends the war. Yep. You can destroy all technology, which then you can't go through interstellar.
Yeah, you basically can't travel.
So when I saw the Mass Effect relay destroyed, that indicated to me that was probably the canon ending, that you destroyed all not sentient life, but mechanical, robotic,
Yeah, because if you do, then you don't have this big war at the end of
well, they're all dead. All the Reapers are dead.
Yeah, the Reapers.
The Reapers are dead. And then the third ending, which is you give up your body to control the consciousness of the Reapers, and the Reapers are part of rebuilding the world because you control them, but you are no longer Shepard. And so if you do all of the side quests and build your military strength to the highest level, the secret ending is that after all the credits, if you kill all machine life, you see like your chest armor in rubble because the whole space station blew up.
Yeah.
And then you just hear like a breathe. Like you're like, oh God, he's still alive. But then you don't know where your body's at, where anything's at. So that actually told me that if the Mass Effect relays are destroyed, other than the side quest where you blow up the Batarian relay, that's probably the canon ending. Now, to say that it will continue means that I'm assuming that they made one of the endings canon, and that the question is how long. And so when I looked up the Asari lifespan, right, I was like 1,000 years. All right, so the Krogan, and so Liara could be 1,000 years old. So
Krogans, and I'm gonna show Sirius while you're doing that with the
Liara's age in Mass Effect. So 1,000 years old. She was about 106 in her first appearance. So let's say she's about 110 at the end of Mass Effect 3. She could be 500 years into the future. And so, I mean, the question is, what do you mean by, okay, I pick up an N7 piece of armor. There's only one person that ever wore that during the war, and that was Shepard. I mean, there were a lot of Ns. Let me rephrase that. There are a lot of N7s out there, but only one we know ever wore it during the war. And the question is that I have is, are we going to rebuild Shepard like we did in Mass Effect 2, where he died, or she in your game, and then Miranda rebuilt the person, or are we like, what does that mean? Like, because Liara could go up to 1,000 years old. She's only 106. She was like a child. 106 years old is a child for an Asari, and 500 years in the future, I mean, all our peeps are dead. It's like that. It's like that book, the dinosaur that says all my friends are dead. Apparently, I don't know. So I'm being cautious because you both have not suffered through the game known as.
No, I have not, and I agree with you. I only stopped at 2 because I love 2. 2 is where if I had a choice, that's where I would decide to end myself, from that, because that was the best of me. And then when I had to rebuild Shepard in 3.
No. I'm saying that you guys never suffered through Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh God, no, I did not. You're right about that.
I mean, it was as if a lot of people from Twitter were given the job and tried to do all of the things they wanted to, like the representations, the art style. Like, I'll tell you what, even though you think that with an improved graphics engine that they should look better, design, like whoever drew the concept to make these things made it worse than Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, I will say, not to interrupt you, the one thing I love about Mass Effect as a science fiction reader, the way the map was amazing to me. I have never seen a map where you go from one galaxy to another and then you use fuel. It's literally realistic in that sense. You actually have to go get fuel.
I got to play this.
I just told Sirius off the side, you have to play this game because you will actually appreciate the map of this game.
Well, to Sirius, you should wait till next year to play it because they're going to have the new version of it. Well, the remastered version, and I guess that's my question. So I was going to say to Lumpia here. I think
I wish Caden died in my game.
Okay, that's great. I'm just saying that. Thank you for interrupting me for the time.
All right, I'm going on mute.
Go mute. Hush, Whammon.
We're gonna get into that soon. Anyway.
Oh no, the EBSHI, don't get us started on the EBSHI. In all serious, back on track here. The my suspicion is that you will have to play Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster and something gets carried over. I just don't know if your story in Mass Effect, the next one, is Shepard or not. And that's where my concern is. I'm at a point now where I don't want to, it's not my story if I'm the riders in Andromeda. I just want it to be my story, which is Shepard. That's what it is, and that's why I'm so cautious. But then when that music hit, when you saw that,
I literally was going to cry
when that music hit, and I actually watched this thing 5 times, and I'm like, I just can't get over the phrase.
The N7 got me.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, for me, it wasn't the N7. It was the music before you landed on the planet. But my issue was, what does that mean? What does will continue mean? Does that mean I'm Shepard? Because that's all I care about. Like,
it better be, because I put in too many hours into my Shepard to make my Shepard renegade. I can't even begin. But if I have to start from scratch, I will. I will.
I think you're gonna see that they're going to make, like, it's not make you, but I think they're going to say it's in your best interest to play the remaster because something carries over. That's my suspicion. But
either way, I love it. Like, I'm a fan. I will play it. That is a game I'm ready to play. And BioWare, if you can just make it like, you know, the game.
They're gonna fuck it up.
If you can just give me some DLC and maybe make it like, I don't know, make it last a little longer, it would be nice. Kind of like Destiny 2.
But I think then I wanted to add, but I also wanted to add to your Dragon Age comment. I got turned off by it. That trailer.
It's interesting that you did, because I
hated it. I hated it not because I thought it was bad. I just hated it because they said it's your story, and I'm like, no, it's not my story. My story is never told. I'm just some random warden going somewhere that no one tells me where the hell I'm at.
But this time, I think it will be my story.
It's not. They're gonna make it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why. I'm surprised you're excited about it, because it's not.
I interpreted it different, and that's because I really felt like it was like Destiny 2. Like, it was
you create a character, but you're gonna go through a Destiny type of 10-year journey, which is fine. That's fine. But then the problem with Dragon Age is what they've done is they told me that Dragon Age 1, the Warden is my story. And then they kept jumping me to somebody else's story. I'm like you said, I keep shifting my bot to different bodies. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you what, I really want to finish the Warden story. I don't care about the mages and the Templars. I don't even care about the Fade doing all that crazy hand gestures while they summon the portal and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I figured Sirius knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, he's totally doing it.
Love it.
Like, I don't even care about the Grey Wolf. Like, I played 3. I put like 15 hours in, and I just couldn't do it.
Because let me tell you, I couldn't even get through it. I really lost interest at that point.
That was the intention, right?
I am really hoping, though you're wrong, fan, but I will tell you, you might have a point. I really just hope that, you know, they rethink it in this day and age of, you know, being like a game that keeps on giving. You have to really think how you're going to go to market. So,
and I'm going to end the video game section with another unpopular opinion amongst the Xbox community. I fucking hated that Perfect Dark. I hated it.
You did?
It turned me off.
I got confused because I wasn't a Perfect Dark person, but I knew how popular it was.
It turned me off because of a couple of things. Like, so it's the unkept secret about Initiative rebooting Perfect Dark, and I was here hoping like it would be like Lara Croftish, but in the Perfect Dark setting, which is mega corporations, the future and stuff. But I hate it for the most pettiest of reason. It's like the most irrational thing that if they did the same thing but did it differently, I would have liked it. It was the fact that they kicked it off saying, "Oh, we lived in the Earth, but we polluted the Earth, and we destroyed the Earth, and the Earth fought back, and then we started going through all this flooding, thunderstorms, and and all the other things that I will not mention. That I think you're following the check boxes that I'm talking about."
That was an anime, anyway.
No, well, yeah, well, we're talking about Blue Gender, but then they started saying, then they started saying, then the corporations helped us and we welcomed them. And then now we want to find, it was like, oh, so this is like a social, like an eco-social justice thing. And like, to me, Perfect Dark was about the like Blade Runner and I'll talk about Cyberpunk in a bit, how when you let mega corporations, like in, let's just say in Amazon, just get all the corporate power, which is going to happen very shortly, you're going to see like unchecked, like capitalism unchecked in a bad way, where it's like only the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. You know what I mean? That's been a very common in a lot of like dystopian sci-fi stuff. And I've always said that, yeah, I think it's kind of cool. But the way it was just like, it just felt preachy. And granted, I had no gameplay. I'm pretty sure Initiative can do a good job of making it like a Lara Croft experience. I hope they do a better job with the gunplay than they did with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. But it turned me off when it was all preachy about social eco justice stuff.
I guess. And
I don't know. Here's the caveat.
I get it. Like I was expecting like corporate. I did get a little confused with some of the rules, but I will say,
I was like, wait, why are we kicking off with this? Like, we destroyed the Earth. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, like if you told me like the corporations, capital, like we welcomed corporations as they helped us, but then they started taking control. Like I got that, I got you on that. Like I get you. I'm seeing it live, but it was just like it's like punching someone in the face and then trying to then teach someone like something else. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to listen to you now that you like kind of punched me in the face?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, it's part of and I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off this time, but it's
go ahead.
It's the idea that they have done the MCU and Hollywood have done this to me so much that I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear that feedback a lot in the coming section. But
before you move off, I just want to make mention. I appreciate what we didn't do is talk about the winners, and I know you mentioned it in the upfront of the Game Awards. I will say it was a little one-sided, in my opinion.
Oh, there was a reason why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what the reason is, but I will tell you something, in my opinion, that the best action adventure should have gone to Spider-Man Miles Morales. And I never played it.
Dude, it's funny.
I never played it, but I really believe that's what should have won.
But Miles Morales Spider-Man came out like not even a month ago.
And yeah.
But that's my point, is like, how did that get nominated? But
and
Cyberpunk, I mean, I know Cyberpunk obviously, but I'm just saying, like,
that and the best performance was an interesting choice, but
did you see a specific actor?
Oh yeah. My other one. Lastly, I would have changed the best ongoing to Destiny 2 or Call of Duty Warzone, only because you and Sirius play Call of Duty Warzone, but because I play Destiny 2. What the hell is No Man's Sky? Because I would not have given them. What? I would not have given that best ongoing.
I know of it. It was actually on Game Pass, but it's
exactly
of it. It had, you know what? That game had the worst launch ever, and I'm impressed that they kept going to improve it. Kudos to them to getting the award. You knew The Last of Us was going to win. It was kind of like saying Brie Larson's Captain Marvel was going to get $2 billion. It was
The Last of Us like swept the awards, which I know. Yes. Okay.
But it's pretty evident as to why it did. Yeah. I don't know. It's funny too that the best performance, I think, was Abby. It's just evident. Like, it's evident. It was like, yep, you punched us in our face and told us you gotta like it or else.
Anyway, but Sirius was gonna say something. I won't take it from him.
Best RPG. Who did that go to again?
It went to Final Fantasy VII.
Very nice. Very nice.
So that works out in Mortal Kombat.
That was the only fighting game, though, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I wouldn't
nothing
really,
can touch that.
Nothing can touch that. But I will say it was
really good.
It was a little lackluster. I personally, for all that it's worth, would have given Spider-Man best action. Like, I mean, come on.
I don't know. Like, look, I played Spider-Man. It was good, but it wasn't like I don't know. It was. I actually wanted to get it done faster than like God of War. Like I know I talk about this a lot from a PlayStation. It was phenomenal
Well,
in my opinion, and I'm more of a Marvel fan. I don't even like the God of War 1 through 3, but God of War 4, the PS4 was just phenomenal in a story and experience. But I don't know why I'm comparing it to Spider-Man. What I'm trying to say is that I don't feel the Spider-Man. It was like if you wanted to feel like Spider-Man, that's a perfect game. But I don't know if it was better than a lot of things. I don't know how else to say it.
But it's a good segue for us because.
Oh, but before I go, my 5-minute Cyberpunk review because that.
Oh yeah! Don't let me forget about that.
Yeah, we're a little scattered over here. Very good start. I was skeptical of the first person mode, but it really is immersive. If Lumpia series, if you ever played, it's good you're not playing it right now because they're doing a bit of fixing. One of the things that was weird was when I made my penis a specific way, and then my penis disappeared. So there's a lot of glitches.
Wait.
A lot of glitches. It's actually minor glitches. Like, so for example, I have Yes, I forgot to mention you customize everything, including your penis size and your penis structure.
Yo, this is like.
And I was a little pissed because I went to my apartment. I went to the bathroom, looked at the mirror to look at myself, and then my penis was missing. And I was like, wait a minute, did I accidentally put the lady part accidentally? And I'm like, oh no, I didn't. By the way, yes, you can have a.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, you can.
In depth shit.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Like you can actually put a setting to say no genital shown, so you'll just have the underwear. But I think for the one, I'm not done the female, but yes, you can do a lot of things with that.
This is amazing.
Like you can start out with a male body build, but then your voice can be feminine. Well, I got to be careful because now, like, you got to be careful of how you say it. You don't want to offend people.
Basically, your voice could be high or low pitched, right? Like, depending on what.
No, the right way, the way they wrote it on the thing is a voice that identifies with she, what is it? She, her, or he, him.
Got it.
So, yes, that, and then you can then, even though you have a specific body build, you can pick a specific genital. So that's why I mentioned, I was like, wait a minute, my penis disappeared.
How you doing, sweetheart?
Yeah. It could be like the crying.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen a game that in depth.
I should have streamed the experience.
I wish you did.
I might do a corpo because I'm a nomad.
Like 5 hours to do.
Yeah. It took me an hour.
Oh my god.
So I'm just saying, like, your eyes could be like you could have hearts for eyes.
Oh, come on.
It's crazy. It is crazy. But
777.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I digress. But so far so good, but I was impressed that the first person mode actually was immersive. Like again, there's little glitches here and there. Driving sucks. Driving your car sucks, so I warn people on that. And then the glitch that I actually mentioned was the one that actually was on the news is that it causes seizures. So the brain section, like the when you do the memory dives,
yes,
they flash lights as if you're because you're in first person. So they do the headset flashes a light into your light, and it hurts my eyes. I turn away every time. But apparently the light, the specific sequence of lights are exactly the sequence of lights people use in diagnostics tests to induce an epileptic
seizure.
Yeah, that is actually what they do in order to see a patient go through the seizure and then diagnose. So it's like crazy. So they fixed that, but I think it does need a few more patches. Like if you bought it for Xbox One X, I think it'd probably be buggy.
Well, it's $48 now that's on sale. That's probably why. But my biggest question: what? Have you interacted with Johnny yet?
No, I'm leading up to it because I have to do these.
That's an important question.
Not yet. I've not met Mr. Keanu Reeves yet.
Johnny. It's Johnny. All right. Anyway.
All right, I'll shut up. It's your time.
Hear more about it. Share your character with us one of these days, and if I ever make one, I will. But I think this is a perfect segue time to delve into the news that just happened yesterday. And I was telling Sirius just a couple minutes ago, like Disney just took a shit. Like they just literally dumped so much shit on us that it behooves us to actually talk about it right now before it becomes old news. I even don't know where to start. What we can start with is Disney had an investor day. And I always try to tie it back to business because at the end of the day, that's what it is. This was probably the moment that I was hoping for earlier this year from Disney. The fact that they waited for Investor Day, I mean, rightfully so. I am tempted to invest in Disney. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, how they're double downing on streaming. They actually increased the price of their Disney Plus subscription service to $8. By the way, I prepaid, so I don't have to pay. But for those of you who are just joining, it increased to $8. They have touted, I forget how many, X amount more subscribers than usual. We know that's related to the pandemic. We know that that's, in relation to the fact that a lot of us are at home more. But what's most interesting is the shit that they just literally dumped on us as like a side fact to all of this whole concept of double downing. So maybe what we start on is the Star Wars continuity, the Star Wars realm, before we even delve into the Marvel realm, because I think more news sits in there that we have been waiting for, with one exception. They still have not announced anything about the Black Widow movie. They're still probably hoping for theatric release. But for the most part, there's a lot of stuff coming from a Marvel perspective. So anyway, I will start with Star Wars. Just a couple things like come to mind, and I have to even look at my notes for it. But the main thing is, and it's really no surprise, is that Ahsoka Tano is actually getting her own show. Rosario Dawson's character, Ahsoka Tano, is getting her own live action show. That makes sense. They announced so many Star Wars developments that are happening with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. What's interesting is I want you to understand Jon Favreau is involved in this, and as you know, Dave Filoni, who has always been. So keep that in the back of your mind, because we talk through this all the time about Kathleen Kennedy's successor. And I just want you to understand that Jon Favreau is involved in a lot of these projects, which is quite interesting. Rangers of the New Republic. This is set in the timeline of The Mandalorian. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to basically, I don't even know what it's going to be talking about, but we just know about this, the title. Ahsoka is the spinoff for Ahsoka Tano. Again, I don't know if it's before The Mandalorian, during The Mandalorian, at a certain point of time. There's also something called The Acolyte, which is going to be headed by Leslie Headland, who is known for the Russian doll. You remember Leslie, don't you, fan? And it's going
Yeah, I do, and I'm just cutting up because it's your turn.
Okay, anyway, it's a mystery thriller set in the High Republic's final days, exploring the sinister secrets of an emerging dark side power. Again, the Acolyte could be anyone.
Wait, so just remind me. So when you say this is the Space Karen one, right? Where there's like the one who looks like Brie Larson, Jedi, the mom version.
You remember Leslie?
Leslie has. I'll tell you what. Leslie knows where a lot of skeletons are.
Yeah, I know. All I can say is it's kind of vague. It's talking about it's literally talking about the High Republic. So this could potentially be what Benioff and Weiss were supposed to work on. What they mean by the acolyte, I'm not quite sure of. Who could this be? I don't know. What source material? I don't know. Supposedly it's set 200 years before the prequel. So the prequel trilogy. So one can only imagine this was supposed to be what Benioff and Weiss were supposed to be working on. Again, no surprise. Lando is coming to Disney Plus. I don't know if it's a Donald Glover Lando or if it's a Billy D. Williams Lando. And if it is, sorry, Billy D., you kind of need to work on a couple things. The next one is A Droid Story. It's going to be an animated series following the duo of C-3PO and R2-D2. And then lastly, the movie announcement, because we have to have a Star Wars movie. Wasn't that what they signed up for when they purchased this from LucasArts at the time? What's interesting about Rogue Squadron, which is the announcement, is that it's going to be directed by Patty Jenkins. She is the director of Wonder Woman. We talk about women, and we talk about women in the Star Wars universe. So that will be quite interesting.
Oh, wait. So sorry, Rogue Squadron. This is not Wedge Antilles, right?
I don't know what it is because it says if I read about it, it will follow the X-Wing fighters of the Rebellion.
Oh God! Wait, is the Rebellion what we see in the sequel trilogy?
I am not sure.
Or is that the Resistance?
I would think Rogue Squadron is back to the Wedge Antilles days, but the fact that it's directed by Patty Jenkins makes me believe we're following like Rose Tico's sister.
Well, so it depends, because let's not discredit Patty Jenkins. She may have done the Wonder Woman movie, but she did not do it at the expense of men.
I'm just saying.
All right, that's all right. I'll shut up.
No. Continue. What were you going to say?
No, you just finish. You got to finish out this because I think I need to secede the floor.
No. It's all good. Please interject. I think the biggest announcement, one of the biggest, because besides Rogue Squadron, we knew a Rogue Squadron was coming out. We just didn't know if it was going to be about Wedge Antilles or if it was going to be about like the X-Wing Squadron as of the time of like the Daisy Ridley films. But yeah, more to come on that. We'll keep tabs on it. The biggest thing to me was a couple things. I think we all kind of knew this Hayden Christensen rumor. We knew he would be linked to something. I guess he is linked to the Obi-Wan event series. So he does have a role in that. So that's like one of the biggest things, like for me, because we talk about like Hayden Christensen, and there were rumors about him being in The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker. And there were rumors of him like he was touring for Comic-Con and they pulled him out. This makes sense that he's part of the Obi-Wan series. I'm not surprised about it. It's just quite interesting.
Nice. Yeah, he should.
That was like, I think the biggest takeaway for me. It means to me that, and I'm not saying Mark Hamill's coming back because we talked about it when we watched the latest Mandalorian. Who the hell was Grogu communicating with? It has to be someone of a high force ability. I just don't know who. But the fact that they're bringing Hayden Christensen in, the fact that they could potentially be recasting Mark Hamill, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not so much the fact that Hayden Christensen is like the most surprising news. It's more so like the biggest peace of mind because it's like you really, it's really difficult to make an Obi-Wan story without having Darth Vader, especially when at the time that he's still alive.
Exactly. And I mean, knowing that, Mandalorian technically takes place what, 5 years?
About 5-ish years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so like knowing that Luke is still alive, we talked about it before about maybe them potentially recasting him. I don't know, but the fact is they're really trying to bring in what they can. I'm not saying Hayden Christensen was the greatest Darth Vader. It's just that there's continuity to it. I appreciate that. It'll be interesting to see it. But either way, guys, I probably missed a couple of things, but what are your key takeaways from the Star Wars part of the Investor Day? What are your thoughts? I'll start with you, Fan.
Can you both fact check me? Are all of these things before the sequel trilogy?
Let's see. Well, the Rangers of the New Republic is set in the timeline of the Mandalorian.
So that's before.
That's before the new, like the Daisy Ridley prequels. Ahsoka, I would expect it to be also part of this timeline, but I am not sure. It could be following her before she met up with the Mandalorian or after. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's before the sequel trilogy.
For sure.
Okay.
Leslie's show is before the sequel trilogy. Got it?
Obi-Wan is before the sequel trilogy.
Lando, I'm not sure because we're not sure if it's a Donald Glover young Lando or
It's
if
gotta be Donald Glover.
Billy D. Williams helping that lady from the Last Jet. Oh God, I keep saying the Last Jedi from the Rise of Skywalker. One of the I guess ex stormtroopers, helping her on a mission. I don't know. The droid story, I mean, I don't know. It's following C-3PO and R2. Rogue Squadron, again, crapshoot, because I don't know if we're talking X-Wing.
Oh my God. Can I just interject on this one?
No, it's all the floor.
The creator of Dear White People is creating the series of Lando Calrissian.
There you go.
Jesus. Okay, let's just... Jesus.
It was popular on Netflix. It was.
I know, I'm just... It's such a I
want to get to what you were trying to say.
It's such a Kathleen Kennedy thing.
I think we're on to something.
And it is Glover. I think it says it's Glover. I don't know. No mention if Donald Glover or Billy D. It's just a sizzle reel of old Lando footage. That's... But yes, this is such a Kathleen Kennedy move with the creator of Dear White People creating the series. Any other big ones that you think that are anywhere remotely during the sequel trilogy or after?
I don't think any of them are after, which is a sad thing.
Well, do you get where I'm going with my point?
Yes,
here?
I do. I want to hear you say your point.
The only thing they have left is to keep resuscitating everything between the old trilogies and the new trilogies, but never going past that line where it's within the new trilogy, the new sequel trilogy. Yep. I expected Ahsoka. That was a no-brainer, given the reception that she had, though I know Twitter was attacking Rosario Dawson for some strange reason. I'm surprised Gina Carano did not get a series.
Sirius told me the other day she has to apologize.
Oh, yes. I was actually going to get to that, but I guess she's not, and good for her, because you know what? She should just say F you. Because you know what's funny is that you think Kevin Feige would not steal her?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Like, she's the perfect person to have in the MCU, and I'll tell you what, she's probably the only one of the MCU that normal, like, Marvel fans would actually love.
I could have believed her as She-Hulk. I really could have. Anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people would actually welcome her with open arms instead of... By the way, do you realize that in this investor call that Kathleen Kennedy is still making the shots despite being lame duck?
I know. I'm kind of confused because her contract ends at the beginning of next year.
So my question is that, yes, I think it forever cements the fact that, Disney's not... The movie theater is not the future for Disney. It's a bunch of TV series, which as long as they're fine, I mean, Mandalorian was great. I didn't, by the way, I have to catch up on that. It's the only thing that they've got going is what Mandalorian has shown, which is you can go any time period up to the sequel trilogy. The Acolyte thing, actually, that's before the sequel trilogy, and I'm sorry, but it's even before the George Lucas trilogy. So I think what you're finding is that the most interesting projects that may be they are will be before be up from episode 1 to episode 6 and nothing no, I'm sorry, episode 1 to before episode 7 and nothing outside that scope.
Yeah. I agree.
Because I mean, probably Lando, I mean, this scares me because I just looked up to see if it was Donald Glover or Billy D, but I'm just nervous now. The Dear White People dude.
What's that song Donald Glover sang? As Childish Bambino.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
This Is America. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Summertime.
Yeah, This Is America. But anyway,
I get a fan. I'm telling you, man. And then you're telling me the big boss. This is Deadline, but I'm just saying, like, you're telling me Kathleen Kennedy's still doing stuff like the Cassian Andor thing. I'm surprised they kept that going because I'm like, who? Again, in the Kathleen Kennedy world, she wants us to care for a bunch of people that are dead.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care about Cassian Andor. He's dead. Like, there's no future for Cassian Andor.
I don't remember what he looks like. I don't remember what he looks
Andor was fine. Like, if he was Kyle Katarn, I'd be happy. But he's not. He's Cassian Andor. He's dead. Who gives a shit?
I know. Anyway,
just give me fucking Luke Skywalker as Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, you know Mark Hamill won't come back.
I hope he doesn't. He's just saying that.
But serious, what are your thoughts on the Star Wars piece? And then I'm going to move on to Marvel because we need to spend some time here.
I mean, you guys pretty much hit all the points. I mean, the like I said, the biggest takeaway for me, not the most surprising news, but like I said, the biggest piece of mine was Hayden Christensen returning as Darth Vader for the Kenobi series, because I've been looking forward to Kenobi for a really long time, and I've said this before and I've said it again, like I pay attention to the stuff I care about. I mean, and like with Rogue Squadron and like what was the Rangers one?
Yeah.
After I was watching this video that was kind of like breaking down like the timeline of where like everything was in terms of the Star Wars. I believe it was New Rock. Yes, it was New Rock Stars. Basically broke down, basically like where everything stands in the current timeline. And I didn't realize, because I didn't read the comics, so this was actually like, news to me, that, there's a lot of years between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, because basically Mandalorian takes place roughly about 5 years after the Empire falls, and apparently I think they used the term ABY.
Yeah.
So I think the Battle of Endor and the Battle of Jakku was around like 4 to 5 ABY, and the Mandalorian takes place roughly around 9 ABY. Now, according to the timeline, when we saw the flashback in The Last Jedi, when they were saying what happened between Ben Solo and Luke Skywalker, like when he finally like became Kylo Ren, that was around the time of 28 ABY. So technically, that was even before the events of Force Awakens, because remember, that was a big flashback. So Kylo Ren had to have been created before the Force Awakens. So the fact that there's so many years in between, like, who knows how major of a series these shows are really going to be, because like I said, there's so many years to cover, and we don't know what it's going to overlap. the only one we really know of, that's obvious is, Kenobi, is because, Darth Vader's still alive.
Yeah.
So you kind of know exactly what it's gonna, overlap. But yeah, like I said, like I'm not too worried about like anything else. Like the Ahsoka Tano one does sound interesting because I haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels. I probably just pissed off a lot of people, and I'm actually upset at myself for not, watching them. But it makes me wonder what the hell happened to Ahsoka after the Clone Wars, because, spoiler alert, by the way, you learn in the Mandalorian episode with Ahsoka Tano that Grogu was rescued before Anakin came in and basically destroyed all the younglings. So it makes me wonder. I think what they said was that Ahsoka Tano was kind of like cast out. Like I'm not exactly sure what it was. Like I guess I would have to watch Clone Wars and Rebels to fully understand Ahsoka's character more. But like I've seen like articles online like referring to her as like a gray Jedi, like which is kind of interesting. So I think that Kenobi is going to be the biggest go to for me, but the most intriguing one I would have to say is Ahsoka.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to move on to Marvel real quick, but before I do want to mention that I didn't realize that Indiana Jones is now in pre-production. So that was another announcement that came out of this Investor Day. I would be remiss not to announce it. So let's get started with Marvel, okay? Because there's a lot that dropped on Marvel, and this is probably going to put us in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to just do some rapid fire fan, and I would like to get your thoughts on it after I do it. So, or just feel free to interrupt me because there's too much. My mind was blown yesterday when all of this came out. To be honest, I had to process it. I had to read it again. I had to this was just mind blowing for me because again, I go back to this double downing on streaming. This is what's happening. This is the future. They realize that. So let's start with Marvel. So WandaVision, a new trailer dropped. January 15th is the release date. We'll keep that in mind. I don't know if either of you saw the trailer, but I'd like to hear your comments when I'm finished. Because they did drop a second trailer. The Falcon and Winter Soldier, again, another trailer came out. There's a March release date that was announced. I really enjoyed the trailer. It wasn't as funny until the end of the trailer, to be honest with you. That sort of camaraderie that they had in the movies. But overall, I have high hopes for this show because it's kind of like, it's like the action adventure that I need right now because I haven't seen a Marvel movie in a long time. The other intriguing trailer that did drop as part of the announcements was Loki. It's a short series based on what happens to Loki after he basically steals the Tesseract crystal when, as you guys know, and if you haven't seen it, in Avengers Endgame, they go back in time to steal it back from him. He steals it back. And so it's kind of like, what happens to him afterward? There's literally many breakdowns of this trailer because it's chock full of information. So I advise you to search for it because I wouldn't do it justice. But I will say it has to do with Kang the Conqueror and time travel. And Sirius and I just went back and forth on this because in a way, as part of the Avengers movie, they went into a different, time sequence to steal the Tesseract and then return it. And the fact that Loki stole it and disappeared with it changes the timeline of that particular moment. So you branch off into multiple timelines with that one act. And I don't know if that's what this is. So again, there's a lot to be taken in with that trailer, if you ever seen it, and the linkage that it has, especially with some of the people that appear in the trailer. Owen Wilson is in the trailer. We don't know who his character is, but he has some sort of holdover, like this timeline
TVA,
sort of, the TVA, the timeline police, basically, if you will. And everyone is thinking that Black Widow appears in it. I don't know if that's a red herring or not. So again, something to watch for May 2021. The next big thing, Hawkeye. We all knew Hawkeye was in development. We didn't know what Hawkeye it would be. This is, a Disney Plus fall 2021 show. Haley Steinfeld will be appearing as Kate Bishop. We kind of heard rumors about her. We saw the set photos. No formal announcement until now. So she will be in the movie, or not the movie, but the series. What If, we kind of knew about. Voice acting of the cast of a lot of the movies will be a part of it. There's also 3 new series coming to Disney Plus. Ironheart, which is about Riri Williams, the engineering protege that basically takes on the Iron Man suit. Armor Wars, which examines one of Tony Stark's biggest fears and stars Don Cheadle as Rhodey. And Secret Invasion, which is like Samuel Jackson reprising his role as the S.H.I.E.L.D. director with the Skull shapeshifter Talos, so Ben Mendelsohn's character.
Nice.
Again, no release dates, and Ben Mendelsohn's character was in Captain Marvel. Again, some casting updates. Moon Knight is confirmed. She-Hulk is confirmed. Miss Marvel, your fave, is confirmed.
Hey!
So Tatiana Maslany is going to be playing She-Hulk. Mark Ruffalo will be appearing in this TV show.
Wait. So does that mean that it's going to be like in the game where Bruce Banner in the game of the Avengers says,
well, let me get to that. Let me get to that now. Okay? So the next is Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan will appear as Miss Marvel in the Disney Plus show. But guess what? She will also be appearing in Captain Marvel 2. Because Captain Marvel 2 has been announced with Brie Larson returning as Captain
And Monica Rambeau.
And so you're truly Miss Marvel will be in Captain Marvel 2. I just want to let you know that.
I just want to say, you know what? We've decided that as a society, this is what we wanted. So I fully expect people to go out there and give it not just $2 billion. I expect people to give it more than $2 billion.
Yeah, and you know what? It's about the subscribership now. It's all about the subscribership now. It's not even about like the movie. It's not about the movie math. It's about subscribership, and this is what's going to bring you in. This is exactly what's going to bring you in.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, did they say it's a movie in the movie theaters or movie in the Disney?
They didn't, but Captain Marvel 2 is going to be, as part of Captain Marvel. It's going to be the follow-up to it, and yeah, Miss Marvel is going to be in it. The fact that Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo is going to be in She-Hulk means to me there's potential there for him to be.
Oh, he's going to say, I learned more than I've ever known.
Oh, yeah.
Just like in the scene of the game.
He's going to be her mentor.
Eventually. No, she's going to mentor him.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like in the game, dude.
I totally forgot.
You got right.
Couple other things. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special will be directed by James Gunn. That will be out in 2022. And it will film alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in 2023 release. And a I Am Groot series of short films will be on Disney Plus. Moving on to the movie thing, I like this piece of news. Feige did confirm that Black Panther 2 will not recast Chadwick Boseman, the late Chadwick Boseman, King T'Challa. There will be a new film directed by Ryan Coogler set for July 2022. So it'll be interesting to see, especially with the news that's going on around Letitia Wright and Don Cheadle. So I won't get too into that, but you know what it is. So let's put it this way. I'm just glad that they're keeping the memory alive. I will always think of Black Panther as Chadwick Boseman. R.I.P. T'Challa.
I'm surprised you didn't even talk about the controversy about Miss Marvel.
Wait, we're gonna save that for later. I just want to get through this. I want you to bring it up. Just 2 more things, okay? 2 to 3 more things. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is officially in development. I want to make sure we understand that Kang the Conqueror is in this movie.
Yes.
If you don't know who Kang the Conqueror is, he controls time, or he basically manipulates time. So he's very important. His statue is actually in the Loki film. So there's linkage there. This is what Disney has always wanted to do, I think. Disney Marvel is link it all together and have the ability to control the story, control the way it's told. So this is going to be interesting because Kang the Conqueror is very involved with a lot of the other properties of Marvel, if you will, whether it's Inhumans, whether it's Eternals, whether it's even Avengers or other things. So, or Fantastic Four. Speaking of Fantastic Four, two last things. Actually, 3. There is a new Fantastic Four movie in development. Nothing else announced other than that it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then Doctor Strange, that is the Multiverse of Madness will tie in both the upcoming WandaVision and Sony and Marvel's third Spider-Man movie. The reason I mentioned this Spider-Man movie is because it did not come out in the Disney announcements. But as you all have been reading, there have been several announcements of Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, actually, what's his name? Doc Ock?
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina. And
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is signed on, and Emma Stone. So
Kirsten Dunst.
And Kirsten Dunst. So as you all know, there's there's confirmed and unconfirmed, but either way, this is a big deal. This next Spider-Man movie, how they handle it, I don't know.
It's like Sony's Endgame.
Tobey Maguire better bring it. That's all I'm gonna say. Because
you're gonna cry.
Tobey Maguire, you better bring it.
You know what? Let me interrupt you. You know what's gonna make me cry?
What?
The Shang-Chi movie just announced that freaking Aquafina is like in it.
No. Is it?
Like I'm looking at it. So you got Tony Leung. Like, isn't Tony Leung one of the original like cool Hong Kong people that we used to watch?
Oh my god, really? Is it which Tony Leung? Because there's many of them.
Oh, that's true. And I don't know who Simu Liu is.
He's the guy who's playing Shang-Chi.
Yeah, but it's like Aquafina. Freaking Jesus Christ. She was the most unfunny person in I guess she was the comedic relief, but she was just freaking annoying. And yes, I admit I watched that Crazy Rich Asians movie.
I did too. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
But Aquafina is like the leading woman.
I don't think so.
But she's the first woman in this picture.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything. We don't know.
Oh god, it's like everyone.
Well, Tony Leung is his father. He plays his father, the Mandarin.
Well, you know what? They really screwed that up because you could have had that as the Tony Stark during Tony Stark's life. No. We have to have Aquafina. Sorry, I digress because you.
And it is Tony Leung. It is Tony Leung.
It is Tony Leung. Our Tony Leung, right?
Yes, I love Tony.
Yeah, but you could have had Donnie Yen.
He is like the Chinese actor. Like if you watch Hong Kong movies,
he's Hong Kong.
Michelle Yeoh is in it too.
Well, let's tell you. Look at that movie. What was it? The one where he like yelled in the tree. It was kind of like the Lake House ish.
Oh my god!
The affair. He had an affair with a woman.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Went back to the guy who was cheating on her, and he like, yeah. We don't always watch Marvel movies. We do watch some crazy shit from time to time.
We and Sirius are trying to figure out if Drago's in this movie because it looks like the guy who played Drago in Drago's son in Creed.
Razor Fist, the guy named Razor Fist.
Yeah, is that Drago's son? Looks like him.
Florian Monson.
Anyway,
sorry, we digress.
I want
no X-Men. No X-Men.
Let me start with you, fan. I want you to bring up the Miss Marvel controversy.
I just quickly read about the fact that people were complaining about how light-skinned she was. There was a character they casted that I guess was hinting that he supported a specific politician, so we had to cancel them. And it was just like having it wasn't the perfect check boxes for a lot of the characters they casted. One was like an Indian or something, and it's not Pakistani. It's not the right, And I'm just like, you can't. This is what you get when you cater to people that never are satisfied. They'll always attack you. But I'm sure Miss Marvel will be the greatest things since sliced bread. Anyway,
she's gonna play a big role in Captain Marvel too.
Oh, it is. Let me pull back and start with
you can't take away too much of the spotlight from Brie.
Okay, let's go with the good first. The Falcon Winter Soldier was the best part of this.
Yes.
Enough said. WandaVision was interesting, but I kind of don't know if I get too much of the fake happy sitcom, the 60s sitcom stuff, I'm not gonna like it. It does make me wonder what the hell is really happening in reality. But maybe she says, something and everyone just becomes mutants. I don't know. I mean, we knew about She-Hulk. Moon Knight is probably going to be something.
They better cast that person well. All I'm going to say is they better cast that person well because that is quite a complex character. And I would really like to see them cast,
Yeah. I mean, Loki, that's fine. No problem with it. I don't know what it's about. So
what are your thoughts about Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel too?
You guys really want me to do this?
No, I just want to know.
Yeah, I want you to do it so you don't have to.
No, here's the thing. I want to get your thoughts on this. To me, besides the Bruce Banner connection, this is actually one of the few that is linking to a movie. That's what I really want to get at, the heart at. Because if you think about it, some of the others, this one is this is a character from a Disney Plus show linking to a movie. And that's what I wanted to really...
Well, they need to. They need to in order for you to actually pay attention.
But is this what you want to start with? I mean, although Avengers the game did the same thing.
Oh, look at the success of the Avengers the game. Record-setting numbers, 50 sales through the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to lead you on. I just want to get your thoughts on the linkages and especially your thoughts around how do you think Disney Marvel is going to approach a reboot of the Fantastic Four, and I want to get your thoughts on Spider-Man. That's really where my mind is at because we all know your thoughts on the others.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know who the Fantastic Four will be. For all we know, we could have Anthony B. Jordan. What's his name? God, I can't remember his name. B. Jordan.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan.
Jesus, that was the name everybody. That was the name everybody wouldn't not cast. I unless you get Michael B. Jordan again, be Johnny Blaze. And
well, I guess my question really is to both of you: are they going to skew younger or older?
I don't know because
both.
You could go with this is what you could go with. You could go with the older Fantastic Four and have
is it John Krasinski and Emily Blunt?
I actually would enjoy
which I would enjoy.
But then but I would do the kids. I would have them come out of some other alternative realm, and John Krasinski and Emily Blunt and their two kids, Franklin and what's the daughter's name?
Oh yeah, you're right.
And you know what? They are mutants.
They are actually.
I don't know why they are mutants, but yes, they are mutants. I will have to see. Ant-Man 3, I think it's one of the more underrated series. I know people don't like it. I actually like it.
It. I like it a lot. And Kang, I think, is going to be awesome. He's the guy who played. Isn't he the guy who played the manta ray guy in Aquaman?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was. Anyway.
Okay.
We forget Thor: Love and Thunder's there. Sif.
Oh yes. Sirius just pointed out something about Thor: Love and Thunder. I totally forgot about that one. Sif is coming back as her role.
Yeah.
But the bigger news is, and I'm glad you mentioned it to me, Sirius, is that they did at least confirm that Christian Bale is the villain in the movie.
Yes, so he's playing Gore.
But he's not Beta Ray Bill.
No, but he's Gore the God Butcher, whatever that means.
Sure, whatever. You did gloss over that Doctor Strange has America Chavez. I'm surprised.
Oh my god, I forgot about that because I mentioned it before, but I forgot to mention it now. Yes.
This is and then actually what's weird is, as much as I love Tobey Maguire and actually Garfield coming back, the problem with the Spider-Man thing is it's becoming it's like every third Spider-Man is the smorgasbord.
You think that this is becoming the Sam Raimi Spider-Man? Because I mean, he's not directing it, but do you think that this is the Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
No, but this is every Spider-Man 3, like every Spider-Man movie builds up to like 10 enemies. But at least
you know what? That's fine. That's Sam Raimi. That's the way he rolls.
But I guarantee you, because isn't Sam Raimi directing Multiverse?
He's directing Multiverse.
So I guarantee, especially with the fact with Multiverse of Madness, and then Spider-Man having all the fucking Spider-Mans from the past, it's like I guarantee you that Sam Raimi has his hand in it in some way, shape, or form.
I love what you said, Dan. Yeah. This is culminated to becoming you have to face 10 bad guys.
But at least there's 2 other Spider-Men, and their pants are just soaking because they just want to put Miles Morales in there.
They have to.
They're like,
they have to. Why can't
they like went through so many versions, like sliders in Cyberpunk, like figuring out how much their penis size wants to go, or how out or in, depending on how you want to roll.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
I'm being a bit graphic here. But.
Yeah, they needed this, and I mean, honestly, I don't care anymore because I've come to the realization that I didn't appreciate it before, but I appreciate the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and I'm fine with it. Yeah. So it's okay.
But okay, I know you guys want me to get to the main event, which is. We didn't talk about this Hawkeye, this Kate Bishop one, because I mean, it's pretty evident she's going to save the event. Oh, well, actually, she's not going to save the Avengers game. That was like the best way to get people to re-engage, like how Destiny 2 has re-engages millions of people to play their game.
Oh, God.
Their live service. Kate Bishop. Not because she's the best, most interesting Hawkeye. Actually, she has a dog that eats pizza, so yes, actually, sure.
The dog is interesting.
Pizza dog. Back to your question of how do I feel about the tie-in? I think you need to tie in to the TV because that's what they screwed up with the Inhumans. I know you guys like it, but it wasn't the biggest fanfare, which is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was for the hardcore. It was never for like reasons that you have to watch it.
Which I did enjoy the last season of, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, but if you had done that with Daredevil, it'd be different in a sense that you could get a little bit more different, diverse crowd, and I mean like of diverse thinkings. Now you've gone down the road of you're basically telling me that the most important character is not even Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, is actually Kamala Khan.
That's what I said. There's a reason she's in it. And
then you've got America Chavez. I'm sure that I guarantee you, every normie that sits in there and tries to understand her backstory it's like, yes, I relate to that. It trust me, every normie. But actually, it doesn't matter anymore because you can just shove it down everybody's throat. And you know what I've learned with Captain Marvel is $2 billion says yes. They will not only swallow the load, they will say, please, sir, can I have some more? That's really what it is. And so you want me to start fighting the fight? I mean, there's nothing to fight. I think $2 billion of Captain Marvel has shut me up and said, you know what? Look at the success of the Marvel Avengers game. The main character was Kamala Khan. Record-breaking success of the video game community. Marvel is strong, and actually, in all seriousness, though, it actually asks the question that outside of Avengers Endgame, does Marvel really have cachet? Like, if it can't even get a game to just sell in a time of the coof, the coof virus, right?
Yeah.
You can't sell this kind of game that had so many billions of dollars from the marketing and the movie success. It's a bit scary. I actually didn't realize Ironheart was announced, and I'm like, now is that a what if the Ironheart?
No, it's gonna be its own.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't even have J. Scott Campbell's rendition or rerun.
Oh my god,
that was like that was tame J. Scott. Like, that was J. Scott on a leash with like blinders.
Oh my god.
And then Don Cheadle. It's funny. Don Cheadle gets a series, but what's our girl Letitia Wright?
Yeah.
He even gave her the bye, Letitia. Woo-hoo! That was a fun one.
Dude, speaking of, not to digress, but you did mention Daredevil, like,
oh, he's in it too, right? He's in
supposedly they're bringing him back into Spider-Man 3. It has not been confirmed, but hey, good for
which means that could also potentially set up Vincent D'Onofrio returning as Kingpin at some point, maybe not in the movie, but at some point, because it's funny because he actually had a petition online for people to sign to actually try to bring back Daredevil. Like, he really enjoyed playing Kingpin, and he was a fantastic. He was a brilliant representation of Kingpin.
I just think the petition, though, was a bit half-hearted because you couldn't do anything for about 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm actually just surprised that they pulled out Daredevil before they pulled out Jessica Jones. Like, Jessica Jones is their leading example of like what women should be. Like, you know what I mean? Like
hey, wait,
Yara, like, oops, wrong channel.
I have a question. Daniel Richtman, this insider, is saying that Tobey Maguire wants $15 million to return for Spider-Man 3. Do you think they should pay up? Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You fucking have to.
Pay freaking Tobey Maguire.
Welcome. Yeah, you have to. Tell you know what? I'll tell you what, man. We are so effing tired of baby Peter Parker's freaking, like, piddly excuses of problems. I'm tired of baby Peter Parker. I really am. Like, what's worse? Him the hand of what MJ, I guess her name MJ, or freaking losing your rent, losing your rent money because you're gonna get kicked out in the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like,
all in all, I will say Disney was waiting for this moment, and they purposely did this effing freaking Investor Day fucking shit. We were all waiting for this announcement during the Star Wars celebration or even the Comic-Cons, and they wouldn't give this shit to us. They had to wait for oh, we have 86.8 million subscribers for Disney Plus. We're raising the rent to $8, and like, oh, by the way, we have all this like other stuff coming out. Well, fuck you. Like, all I'm saying is that they could have given this to us a little bit earlier.
No, you actually hit something that I didn't think about. They actually basically said this in the investor call or the investor event, not to the fans.
Exactly.
You know what that means?
It's all
Disney's fucked.
Yeah.
They're so desperate. They're financially fucked right now.
Well, you know the park is not doing anything.
Parks aren't doing anything. Their movies aren't going to do anything. I mean, let's be real. Who's going to go out and risk their lives to watch Captain Marvel 2? Like, who's going to take the vaccine just to go watch Brie Larson? Who's going to go and wear a mask and like worry about the filters and the air quality to watch Kamala Khan?
I don't know.
Silence. Your silence is golden here, man. Like, who's like? I tell you what. If you're telling me to go risk my life and bring the Coof virus home to watch Aquafina, hell no.
Oh man. No,
like,
I'm not getting the vaccine. I am not getting the vaccine for Brie Larson. I agree with you on that one.
I'm not sipping for Brie Larson. I'm not Russell Wilson sipping for Ciara here, okay? I'm not sipping for
shit.
I'm not getting over the Wilson stuff. By the way, he's been playing like shit. Serious.
Good, because then I can beat the person that I'm facing.
You're not facing Russell Wilson.
One day I will.
Yeah, well, you can't have Russell Wilson play like shit because you have what's his nuts?
Tyler
Tyler
play like shit to everybody else. All right, I think
it's my turn to cede the floor. Serious, go ahead.
Yeah, serious. What did we miss? Please keep us in line here.
I mean, through all the web of shit, no pun intended. I mean, I think you pretty much touched everything. The Spider-Man thing is really interesting because that has like the biggest rumors going around in terms of cast members. So like once it gets closer to production, it'll be nice to see like which of these is coming true. Loki, I'm really looking forward to. You touched on the Kang statues in the commercial, and the potential of Black Widow. I mean, for me personally, I think that is Black Widow. I really do. However, I think it's a vision into the future. A lot of there are articles say like, will Loki save Black Widow? First of all, it's a broken timeline that was never fixed from when they went back in time to try to get the Tesseract. So the fact that Loki stole the Tesseract technically right after the first Avengers movie. So if you go timeline-wise in the alternate universe, Loki stole the Tesseract before Ultron, before Civil War, before Infinity War. So there's no possible way that Black Widow would be dead around that time unless they somehow magically jumped, X amount of years throughout the series. Like I said, the fact that Kang shows up in the TVA, and I think TVA is it's Time Variance Authority. I think that's what it's called. And that makes sense. Like the fact that it's called Time Variance Authority because he's basically wanted for, breaking the timeline because he wasn't. It's kind of like, what's that movie with, it was the movie with Matt Damon and Emily Blunt.
Oh,
it's
God.
The funny thing is, it's one of my favorite movies and I can't think of it. Basically it's the people watching over. It's like these four guys that are watching over the world, making sure everything quote unquote goes according to plan. And basically Matt Damon wasn't supposed to fall in love with Emily Blunt's character, and he screws up the turn of events because of it. But anyway, I feel like that's kind of what the premise is with Loki. Owen Wilson's character basically brings him in. probably explaining to him about, breaking the timeline.
The Adjustment Bureau.
Adjustment Bureau, that's it. It's a very similar premise in terms of, if one thing out of line that wasn't supposed to happen and people notice it, they try to correct it. And I think that's what the TVA tries to do in Loki. But I really hope that Loki does have some kind of connection to Ant-Man, especially the fact that Kang is supposed to be the villain. But like I said, the fact that we saw that silhouette of like Black Widow like sitting on the it looked like she was actually on Vormir.
Yeah.
Too. And the thing is, Black Widow wasn't even the original sacrifice. It was Gamora. Yeah. And that was from a completely different timeline. So the fact that they're actually timeline jumping. So think about this. They go back in time to steal the Tesseract. And Loki steals it. So they're actually unsuccessful. So that breaks off. That's a completely different timeline.
Yeah.
And you have the other group of Avengers, Hawkeye and Black Widow, where they go to Vormir. And instead of Gamora sacrificing herself, it's Black Widow.
Yeah.
So that breaks off, and that's a completely different timeline. So the only other way that they could possibly show Black Widow and Loki is if somehow he's shown a glimpse of the future, maybe due to the TVA or somewhat. But I really hope that the quantum realm is somewhat touched on in Loki. It would really be nice. The thing that made the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. With the whole time travel thing was that they actually did mention the quantum realm, which actually helped out a lot. So I hope that, they kind of like put the missing pieces together in Loki and somehow connect that to Ant-Man and possibly that vision of Black Widow. Falcon Winter Soldier, I mean, it's nothing new. You saw Falcon, you saw Winter Soldier, you saw the image of Zemo. It looks like it's going to be a really good series. It really gives me the feel of the Winter Soldier movie, which was one of my favorite MCU movies just because of the fight scenes and everything, which is why I'm really looking forward to Black Widow, because I kind of get like that vibe. Nothing in particular, nothing to really shout out about from Falcon and Winter Soldier. WandaVision looks really interesting. I kind of have somewhat of a hunch like what it might be. Like, I noticed that at the end of the trailer they showed the Mind Stone, and like I couldn't tell if it showed that it was cracking or what. So I'm not sure if this is maybe what's going on in Wanda's head, coping with Vision's death, or maybe the fact that maybe this is what's going on in her head, like when she's dead. Like I said, I don't know what's, because basically the last vision she has before she, quote unquote, is blipped, as they like to call it in Far From Home, was that, basically Thanos picked the time stone off of Vision's head and then basically just dropped him to the ground. Because I noticed she has like these random episodes throughout the trailer. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in terms of the story. The movie news, it's like there's so much inconsistency. I mean, there's so much like shit like coming around. Like, it's like not knowing when productions are going to go underway. Like, who's going to get cast as what? I mean, She-Hulk, I kind of knew all that stuff. It wasn't really anything like
new,
earth-shattering. Captain Marvel 2, no offense, but I didn't give a shit, so I didn't really like pay any mind to it. But like I said, I basically just paid mind to the ones that I knew were going to be good. Like the Fantastic Four really was really like the biggest takeaway in terms of news, because I kept like I've always said this, like, before, when we always tried to talk about like who would be the next villain after Thanos, and we threw Galactus around. We even threw Kang the Conqueror at some point. But like just the simple mention of Fantastic Four, like I don't care when they're going to produce it. I don't care when the release date is. I don't care who you're casting at this point. I will when the time comes. But just the fact they said Fantastic Four is coming to the MCU. That alone, what do you Lupia? What do you think the first word that came to mind?
Galactus?
Doom.
Oh, Dr. Doom. Okay.
Doom. I'm really hoping that this opens the door for Dr. Doom, and I hope that he ends up becoming not only the next villain, but I just hope he's not
like a bigger villain.
A bigger villain than most of the villains that have been in the MCU, aside from Thanos.
Yeah.
Let me interject. You know what the biggest villain is going to be that the Avengers are going to have to team up for?
What?
The patriarchy. Men, they're just evil creatures. That is why we're going to have the Avengers be basically just Shuri, assuming Letitia Wright's allowed to be on anywhere. You're going to have her represent Black Panther. She's not going to be because I said they're not going to recast T'Challa, so she's the new Black Panther. You've got Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel 1 and 2, which is Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel. You're going to have Riri Williams take over as Ironheart.
Yep.
You're going to have America Chavez replace Captain America.
Yep.
You have Kate Bishop already doing world beater success. You have Yelena Belova probably going to represent Black Widow-ish character. Who else am I missing? I mean, basically, Thor. Thor. How could we forget Thor?
She-Hulk, Jane.
No, you need a female Spider-Man.
Oh, Gwen. That'll be Gwen. Spider-Gwen. Oh, and Miles Morales because he, yes, our boy Miles is actually sipping as well, so he'll be included.
Yeah. Either way, I know we went over.
Yeah, the women will be popping bottles in a few years.
But yeah, I'll stop it there if you want to wrap up, fan. I think we went over, but for the most part, there was just too much that happened over the last few days that I feel like we would be remiss to not.
We blew our load today, so maybe we'll take Sunday off. What do you think?
That works. And we had Sirius this time, so
there's a lot of Lubin tissues to go through. Basically,
maybe I need to we need to have just like a joint stream to see how.
I need to create your cyberpunk character.
No, my cyberpunk character is cool. We could do a corporate one though. We could do a corporate.
Starting Mass Effect.
Yeah, because I got serious on the Mass Effect.
Yeah, then now she really wants me to play it now.
I would not. I tell you, do not. Just wait till the remaster.
I know you keep saying wait, but you know what? Mass Effect 2 will always be my fave. But anyway,
I'm just saying because
for the crossover in case the data.
Yeah, that is true. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's what I'm saying. Is like you guys will be doing a lot. The problem is if had I known that. Like with Dragon Age, what they did right was they put it on a server, so all your decisions are on a server. Mass Effect, they never did that, which I don't know why they never did that. So that's why it's, in my mind, you're doing yourself justice by waiting for the remaster.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I know we're gonna have to save it for next time, but you need to catch up on The Mandalorian because I have a big question to ask. It's not a spoiler. I need to know how you think Boba Fett cleaned up the armor. Anyway.
What, you want me to get all gross about it?
No,
I'll have to take a look at it.
No, how the armor.
He polished that motherfucker.
That fucking armor
he
changed
polished that shit
from the last episode, and I want to know how he got it.
It looked clear. It looked clearer than when he fucking wore it in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that one. It's freaking new armor. This is like armor I've never seen armor. You were laughing at how it fit last time.
He threw some fucking OxyClean on that shit.
Anyway.
We probably put soaked it in vinegar too and just let it.
Anyway, all right. We will.
That being said, let me do the closeout. Thank you for everyone for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications as we drop content. Also, reach out to us at Justice Sith, which is our Twitter handle. Note that we are also on popular podcasts like Spotify, should you want to re-listen to in an audio-only format. That being said, see you all on the Sith side.
Bye, guys.